Hey guys, One Clue here. I hope all of you are doing well and having a really good day. In today's video, I want to have a chat with you and I want to chat about ThingsIX and what's been going and brewing for the next chapter. So let's get started. Before we actually start, I'd like to highly suggest you guys to come over to Twitter or to X, how it is called nowadays. And maybe you want to follow me because I do post regularly on Twitter and I do post especially if I do have any updates coming on YouTube or anything else. So check my Twitter profile out if you're interested. So let's have a chat about ThingsIX. Let's give you guys a quick introduction what ThingsIX is. For some of you, it might be viable to say that it is another version of Helium. For others, it might not be viable to say this. I myself would never, I would not compare it with Helium and the Helium project, but it does have some similarities and some things are completely different compared to Helium. The most interesting part about ThingsIX is how they actually map their network and how the functionality of the network will be introduced over a period of a time. It's basically the major difference between Helium and ThingsIX. There are obviously a couple other differences as well, but I don't want to have a technical video today. I want to have a chat with you guys. I want to talk about what I do think about ThingsIX and what's brewing and what's coming up with them. So Tim recently posted something on the Discord, ThingsIX, the next chapter. Reflecting over the past month, we feel that we need to improve on certain areas to allow ThingsIX to grow faster. Therefore, we will introduce the following changes. The first one is lowering the fees for secure mappers in the third-party mapper program. We are lowering the fees to be paid by the manufacturers to 25 euros instead of 50 euros per mapper. For the first 10 manufacturers, we are also waiving the project fees. Additionally, we will discuss with manufacturers the possibilities to do provisioning at their facilities to reduce overhead. So, what does this mean? What is even a secure mapper in the third-party mapper program? So basically, how the ThingsIX network works is you have a gateway, you have a hotspot, how it is called in the Helium space, because I'm sometimes referring to Helium just for the sake that most of you guys are familiar with how Helium works, and I wanna start at the point so that you guys understand it. So don't judge me on that. It's what I'm trying to give you a good point so that you understand what I'm talking about. So in ThingsIX, it's a little bit different. You can place your hotspot anywhere you like and you set the location on the blockchain and you save it, you pay your fee for it, yada yada yada. The thing is, you do not earn anything unless someone with a secure mapper comes along and maps this position. So maybe you have seen one of my videos about the Helium network and how you can actually map your location. It's basically the same. The difference is you need this mapper to actually verify that your gateway in this certain area where you have set it up and where your antenna is, that it is there and that you do have a functional upload and download channel. Basically, what does this mean? You walk around with a little device that's a mapper. It uses GPS and it uses LoRaWAN and it tries to send a signal to the nearest gateway. Then it communicates with the gateway and the gateway sends an answer back, and then the mapper needs to send a last time a answer back to the gateway. And only if you do have those three communication channels, then your gateway will have a mapped position at the current position of the mapper. And then you can walk around with this mapper and you can map a lot of those small hexagon-like places all over around your ThingsIX hotspot. That's how this works. And the more of those hexagons you have, the more that you have mapped, the more rewards you can earn. So that's the major difference compared to Helium. And why do I refer this as the major difference? The thing is, in the Helium network, you do have a explorer, and the developers and the core team, they do say, yeah, that's That's our map. That's where you get coverage. That's bullshit. You do not get coverage at most of the positions where the Helium Explorer is available. Reason for this is, think about it. You're in a building and right in front of you is another building. And this building is blocking the traffic coming through from your antenna to the street behind the building that is blocking you. On the Helium Explorer, you would have seen that you should have coverage over there, but that's not true. With the ThingsIX network, someone needs to walk around every 6 months and verify that there is still coverage in this area. If nobody verifies this, then you do not get any rewards, and the ThingsIX Foundation or the Explorer that you do have will never tell their customers, here you will have coverage, because we have never proved it. So that's the thing. And they do have introduced their own mapper, and they also introduced a third-party mapper program. So they allowed other manufacturers to create their own mappers, to actually have more mappers, because currently ThingsIX is only available in Europe, and we only have, 71 mappers in whole Europe. So that's a very, very limited amount. Most of the mappers are in the Netherlands, and the second most of them are in Germany. So yeah, you do see that the amount where mappers are going around is a little bit limited. So that's the thing, and that's why they introduced the third-party mapper program. Some manufacturers were a little bit clingy, or a little bit they were fudding around about how expensive it is to pay the onboarding fee, you can call it like this. So whenever a third-party manufacturer is trying to build a third-party mapper, they have to pay a small fee. Previously it was 50 euros per mapper. They reduced it to 25, so that's a good thing. And for the 10 first managers, they're also waiving away the project fees. That's really, really amazing. Talking about this, you do have to pay some initial fee to actually be able to build the mapper for this project. So yeah, that's an overall better point for the manufacturers to actually now get started into the third-party mapper program. And I really do hope that we will see some new manufacturers coming up and new mappers coming along into this project. The way how ThingsIX currently work is fine in my opinion, but you could argue that with the limited amount of mappers, the growth is limited. And therefore, I do hope that with this lowering of fees, we will see a better growth of this overall program, or of the network overall. Speaking about this, they also introduced the less secure mappers. Let me read this to you. Soon we will allow regular LoRaWAN mappers supplied by ThingsIX router operators to be used for mapping the coverage provided by gateways. We acknowledge that these mappers are less reliable. Pause here. So they will allow you to use your own mapper as long as you are a ThingsIX router operator. A router operator is basically someone who is routing the traffic in this network. Therefore, there are a couple of things needed that you have to have. Speaking about a small size server, speaking about some IP addresses and stuff probably, and a little bit of knowledge back when it comes to setting up some sort of server-wide software that you need for LoRaWAN networks. Let's go ahead. Therefore, they will be handled and displayed separately, and only 10% of the total gateway coverage reward will be allocated to coverage mapped by these mappers, and there will be no reward for the mappers themselves. So let's pause here again. So with the secure mapper that the ThingsIX Foundation was giving out, you will get 100% of the tokens that are allocated to the certain position where you have been walked around and where you have mapped a hexagon on the map, basically. With a less secure mapper, it's a way to get started, to maybe even get into this program, and you will earn something even if you do not have a secure mapper. but you will only earn 10% of the total gateway coverage reward. So that's the thing. This is not an incentivize for you to walk around big shapes. It's more like, okay guys, we heard you. Some of you are complaining they haven't got their hands on a mapper yet and nobody is willing to lend it to them. Okay, here you go. This is a less secure mapper. Use your own as long as you're a ThingsIX router operator. And then you can check out if it is working for you. And hopefully someone will lend you a secure mapper to walk around so that you can earn the 100% rewards instead of the small amount. So that's a good thing for all those people that haven't had the chance to get their hands on a mapper. So that's perfect. It's just, it's a really, really small portion of what you would get with a normal secure mapper. Also, what they state here is the mapper themselves will never get a reward. When we're talking about the secure mappers, there are two parts working on this. So basically, your gateway gets per hex 8, I believe it is. Hex 6 or hex 8. I'm not sure about the size of the hex. So basically, your gateway gets per a certain size hex a certain amount. And it will get this for the next 6 months every single day. Obviously, the amount is reducing with more people onboarding and with more people mapping. And the mapper will receive a certain amount per hex it mapped once. So the more, but it's going in a smaller size. So a smaller sized hex can be mapped by this mapper every 3 months. After then the mapping process can be refreshed, but it is needed every 6 months. And the mapper gets the rewards only once, only the day after it has mapped stuff. So that's the thing. And with the less secure mapper, the mapper will receive nothing, but you will receive 10% with your gateway. So that's the thing. You can actually now start to walk around and figure out if stuff is working or not. So let's move on what the text says. As this mapper can only occur via ThingsIX routers, router operators can contact the ThingsIX Foundation on how to set this up. Router operators are, of course, engaged to provide or sell these mappers to the community. Encouraged. I'm sorry. Route operators are of course encouraged to provide or sell these mappers to the community. These rewards for less secure mapping is a temporary measure to boost the expansion of the network. Once secure mappers are sufficiently available, these rewards will be reduced or removed. However, the mappers will still be usable. So that's the thing. As I said, they will do this just for the sake of boost the expansion of the network. And obviously they think about as soon as we do have enough secure mappers, maybe we will reduce the reward that is been allocated to those people, or even just remove the rewards for those less secure mappers at all, because then there's no need. But currently there is a need because the ThingsIX Foundation is not capable of producing more, or maybe they are capable, but they're not willing to. I'm not sure. Nobody is sure. That's the thing. You do not know what's going on in a company that you are not working for. So that's the thing. One major thing that we need to talk, and that's the next topic that's coming along, is the liveness checking of gateway. So let's quickly read through this text and then let's talk about it. One of the common complaints of mappers is that gateways they are trying to map are not online or not working. Therefore, we will soon introduce liveness checking into the ThingsIX network and dashboard to give a near real-time insight into the liveness of a gateway. Also, this liveness checking will be used in the reward calculation to promote highly available gateways and to remove rewards for gateways that are offline for prolonged periods. That's perfect. That's so perfect. So I myself lended or borrowed, but basically I borrowed a secure mapper from a friend of mine, and I was walking around on my gateways. And I do remember the first gateway that I ever mapped, I had major issues. It was a Penta X2, and I was walking around for like 1 hour. I was on a strict timetable this day, and I had issues. It was not working. I was not getting a single downlink. So I was really worried. I wasn't sure what was going on. After a while, I fixed the problem. It had to do with the configuration file that I set up on this device, and I fixed it, and then it worked. So that was okay. But yeah, I do feel it of people that are maybe they have mapped their own area that then they want to expand, or maybe they want to help their friend. They're moving like, or they're driving like half an hour to a friend, or even an hour, because there are multiple gateways around, and they just want to move around and help them and grow the network, and even just check if there is any coverage available. And then those people, maybe they have just unplugged the device, but it is still online on the map, or they have any issues with their device, but they do not know how to fix it. And now you, as a mapper owner, you drive along and you are pissed because nothing is online and you do not get any rewards. So it was a waste of time and it was a waste of money. The liveness checking will change this. So as soon as your gateway will probably be offline, or after a certain period of time, the reward calculation will be reduced for your device. So you do have an incentivize to have your device online and check if it is working or not. So that is amazing, really. So no longer will mapper have any issues to move around and figure out if the device is online or not. So that's perfect. Let's move on to the next step, the airtime payment. In the beginning of next year, we will introduce the payment for airtime, where router operators need to pay for the airtime being used by their sensors because of data traffic they are sending and receiving over the ThingsIX network. Nice. So what is this for our Helium Common guys? This is basically data credits. So for every chunk of data that you want to send, even if it is just a small portion or just a temperature from a sensor, you are sending something over the airtime with the ThingsIX network, and you have to pay for it. Currently, you do not have to pay for it, but somewhere next year they will introduce it so that you have to pay for it. This will be some sort of data credits. I'm not sure how the tokenomics will look like after this, or how they will introduce this. Maybe you will just use the fixed token for it instead of having like, let's say 5 different tokens. Helium, huh? I'm not sure, but it is the right step forward. And now we do get into the section of being a real network with ThingsIX. So that's good. That's what we want to see. It's giving back, or it's giving to the network the incentivize that we are actually growing into the right amount, and that we are actually go into the right direction with this overall network. And all those things that I have talked previously here about are also part of this. You need to encourage people to do the right things, and obviously you need to have an incentivize, either with rewards or with something else, mostly with rewards. But yeah, I think with this next chapter that the ThingsIX Foundation is releasing, they will head into the right direction. And obviously I will make videos about all those steps that are needed, if there are any steps needed in this next chapter, because maybe you need to update your devices, those containers will maybe change, or anything else. And this liveness check is hell of a good change, and also the less secure mappers. This is just a temporarily change or a temporarily fix. But it's a good one to have a boost in the expansion of the network. Also, combined with this, the lowering fees for the third-party mapper program manufacturers, to get them incentivized to actually go ahead and start with it, is perfect. So we do see a couple of changes they introduced here to make the growth and the boost of the expansion of this network way quicker. That's what I have to see, and I cannot wait to do the next video about the ThingsIX Foundation and how this network is actually growing. So I'm looking forward for it, and I really hope you do so. And thank you guys for listening to today's video. It's more of a chat and not of a video and showing you anything, but I think that's fine, especially now with the holidays coming up. The amount of videos that I will release is a little bit reduced, but that should be fine. So that's it for today's video, today's chat. Thank you guys for listening here, and yeah, see you in the next one.